your girl Sunshine. It's Tuesday, Tuesday, Tuesday. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. So it is time for us to celebrate life and to celebrate and talk about the business. Talk, 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 talk. We need to talk about the schools. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello there.
How are you?
I am doing pretty well. I am back again with you, Miss Sunshine.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Hello, Lady Day. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. So I had my pleasure of having Mr. Mac on, what, 2 Fridays ago
Yep,
for Hip Hop
about two
Friday.
Fridays ago. Yep, that's right.
And we got in, hey, Raya, hey, everyone, come on in, come on in. So we got into talking about the schools, and you told me what you do besides rapping. So now here we are, round two.
Round two.
So introduce yourself for the ones who don't know you.
Absolutely. So my name is Scotty Mac, aka Mr. Mac, aka Mr. SCOTTY Mac. I am a rapper, MC extraordinaire. At least I'd like to think I'm an extraordinaire. But I am from Long Island, New York, and I am a hip hop artist. But what I also am, I am an educator. I have been educating the youth in New York City for the last 10 years. Well, I've been in education for 10 years. I've taught in New York City for 8, and I spent my first 2 years in education on Long Island as a teaching assistant and paraprofessional. And now and the last 8 years of my educational career, I've been teaching in New York City. I started out in Brooklyn for 5 years, and now the last 3 years, I have been in East Harlem, New York, and I'm a special education teacher. So I am blessed to say that I have been given the gift to be able to educate, and I use my hip hop charm when I can, but at the same time, I love what I do as an educator, and it takes, everybody has said in the past that those who can do and those who can't teach, and I absolutely disagree with that. Because I disagree with that because those people who say that have never tried to teach a day in their life.
Hello. Hello. Yes. And I agree 100%. So here's the thing. When we got to talking, I was talking about this book of mine that I wrote, but
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk about also with the education and things to that nature, because we do not have a lot of African American or Hispanics as teachers in the school district, in the school system, period. I can honestly tell you, growing up in high school, I only had 3 Black teachers: criminal justice, and one of them was Mr. E, who was a vice principal at Huntington High. And on top of that, the other one was a female. I couldn't stand her though, but she taught Spanish. But the simple fact is, was it Miss Brady? I think that was her last name. Anywho, but you don't see that. You know what I mean? I had one Spanish teacher that was Spanish, but there's other Spanish teachers that wasn't Spanish teaching Spanish. And I'm like, okay, I don't get the logistics here, people.
Right.
So let's talk about it. Excuse me, I'm getting better, but I'm still a little sick, y'all.
No worries, Miss Sunshine.
Excuse me. So with you being a teacher for 8 years, how many others are hours you work with? See?
You know what's funny about what you say there, Mr. Sunshine, is that in the 8 years I've been in the classroom and the 10 years I've been in education, I've only worked in schools where I've taught youth that look like me. I've only been in school that teach where I teach youth that look like you and I. So strangely enough, in the 10 years I've been in education, I've encountered a lot of teachers that look like me. However, in the I can tell you, I only started seeing more Black and Hispanic males as educators within the last that I've worked with within the last 4 or 5 years. And I work in a school that pretty much every teacher that I work with is of color. And matter of fact, I think everybody is either Black or Hispanic with the exception of a few.
Mm.
So I can tell you, I think in our last conversation that we had, I had said in the past that I believe the number of black or brown African American males that are teachers in the United States is, I think the percentage I last said was something like 3 or 4% of teachers in the United States are Black men. Then the thing that I really don't like, because we're going to get into it, the thing I really don't like is when they ask Black men to work in the school systems, they usually put them in classrooms or in positions where they can quote unquote control or be the authority figure for the students that they consider quote unquote the most troubled ones. Like, we signed up to educate, not discipline and babysit.
Exactly.
So I find that to be very, very disheartening and also disrespectful. Now, do I think that that is not needed? Absolutely not. I absolutely believe that we need more African American males in those positions. Do I think they need to be forced upon them because they feel that they need the disciplinarian and that male with a heavy hand? No, because that you're not going to get anywhere with that.
Exactly.
You're just not.
My motto
It's a fact.
My motto is teach one, reach one, but I'm trying to reach more than one. You know what I mean? And I agree 100% with what you're stating, because the simple fact is, what is it because of our color that you feel like we intimidate you just because of what we look like? And it's disgusting, because the same thing is, we can look one way, the Caucasians could look another, and they could be worse off than us, but meanwhile, they still iron us.
Exactly. Right. Right.
What I want to do is talk about you working in the school system and that just, I'm trying to word this right, because Raya was like, you got to be careful. You don't want to get your page shut down. So, the education that they want, the curriculum that they want, we're going to use the proper word so they don't cut me off. The curriculum that they want us to teach is not for us, it's for them. And Miss Lady Day, I'm definitely going to read your notes in a moment. The fundamentals. Why is it that they wait to teach us economics and finances like what, senior year? If I could remember, thank God I had parents who was teaching all through the years, all growing up. But the simple fact is, oh, y'all could be mechanics, y'all could do this. Why we got to work with our hands when we could do other things? You know what I mean? On top of that, why are you not teaching us what you teach your kids at home behind closed doors? So, God told me to write this book. I've sat with billionaires, Warren Buffett from Geico, who owns so many. I sat in the room with people. I've sat in the room with big dogs. I've sat and I listened. They hide money by estates. They hide that. When you hear old money, old dirty money, it's because, they'll go ahead and give the money in the estate to their kids so they can have the state, the government, pay for them to be in a nursing home. How they hide that money. That's how they hide that money. I worked for Medicaid for a few with attorneys, and I learned that. So the simple fact is, God wants us to get our people out of debt, but you got to change your thinking and your mind thinking. But being drilled in so long from child, oh, you can only do this. Oh, you can only do that. Nah, boo. My mother and grandmother said, no, you were bigger and better than that. My father
Right.
would speak life. The simple fact is, we need teachers like us who care and to instill and start off young. But it starts at home as well.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't we set it up to the curriculums we want to teach the kids on top of what they want us to teach the kids? You know what I mean?
And and you know something, we started to get into this the last time we spoke,
Mm-hmm.
and I can tell that your puppy wants to hear this too. So I'm gonna make sure that this puppy hears this.
See,
Hey, you.
she's so spoiled. She's so spoiled.
But here's my thing. Me personally, when I was in school, I
Mm-hmm.
was never taught anything about financial freedom or economic disparities. I was not taught about anything of that nature when I was in school. I think the problem became right after the failure of NC LB. If you're not sure what that means, it's No Child Left Behind.
Mm-hmm.
After the failure of the No Child Left Behind Act, they needed to
Major
find
failure.
something, and it was an absolute abomination of a
Yes, it
failure.
was.
But
Big time.
but when you are talking about when they decided that was a failure, what they ended up doing was they created something else that they thought would help. And that something else became this little thing known as Common Core.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. Oh.
That's what happened. My issue, and I could go on, we could have a whole nother separate conversation about Common Core. But Common what happened after the No Child Left Behind Act failed is they created the Common Core curriculum. What the Common Core curriculum essentially states is that these are, quote unquote, the school, what they believe students need to know and understand as far as the skills to move forward. Here is the problem. 9 times out of 10, those standards and those skills are not applicable to real life.
Come on. Hello.
So now here we are as teachers having to try to find a way to apply these standards and these skills to real life, real world situations. And what we end up doing in the long run is we end up confusing our kids because they're sitting here trying to figure out how on God's green earth and when on God's green earth am I ever going to use this?
5 times 5, 25. What the hell? We learned that growing up. So why do we got to do this and this and this and this? During the pandemic, I was ready to throw the laptop out the window.
I
My son
guess
was like, no, Mom, they want us to do this and this. I was like, it's 5 times 5. Or you going extra and over. What the hell? I said it. What the hell?
that's what look. Imagine you're a parent during the pandemic having to do that. Imagine being a teacher and having to do that virtually, let alone having to do it inside of a classroom.
Listen, that virtual crap I was done. The kids was done. I was ready to pull my hair out. I was like, look, we told the teacher, and wait a minute, let's talk about the Common Core real quick. Wasn't it supposed to have been thrown out in Albany for the Common Core? Why are we still using the Common Core in school? What the hell?
You know something? I thought after COVID, they were going to do something about fixing that curriculum, or if not fix it, get rid of it. But New York State is particularly notorious for this.
Mm-hmm.
They're particularly notorious for, in the education system, stating what they believe is right, but then leaving the decisions up to people who have never spent a single nanosecond inside of a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
They allow the people who haven't taught a day in their life, a day,
I know.
to walk into Albany and make the decisions for us for what our children should be learning. And let me tell you something, that is the biggest load of BS I have
Mm-hmm.
ever heard in my life. You mean to sit here and tell me you want me to teach this stuff because you think it's what these kids need to learn, when in reality, it's what you want them to learn, because then what they get to do is they get to hire these test-making firms to create tests that aren't fair. Why? Because it's their very, very slick way of weeding out the quote-unquote bad schools.
Yep.
Because the more kids that fail these common core standard, these common core state examinations, the less money the state has to give into those school budgets. So,
And that's what sucks. And on top of that, the kids that really need the finances, the kids that really need it, they always like to shun them, and they like to close down the schools, and then they're forcing them to go into these other schools and everything else. It pisses me off. And I'm so tired of people that do not go in the school system, who don't have kids, making these decisions and want to cut things. It's killing me. It's
it
really
is.
killing me.
And now, and then prior to the new administration, when you had that ugly, stupid, didn't know her, you know what, from her elbow, running the
Woo!
United States Education Department, trying to privatize public school systems.
Mm-hmm.
That I was sitting here racking my brain trying to figure out what that meant. Well, let me tell you what it meant, because I figured it out. I'm not a dummy. I got 3 college degrees and I'm a teacher for 10 years. I know what that was about. You were actually doing is you were trying to get the schools that were more heavily populated with black and brown children to become private institutions. Because what you wanted at the end of the day is you wanted to reap the benefit of these private institutions funneling money to where? You. The only people that benefit from that are the 1%. The
Mm-hmm.
only people. So when we're talking about curriculum, I do the curriculum because it's my job and I understand it. But at the same time, there are things in schools right now that have absolutely no damn business being taught to our children.
I know. Oh, I know.
None.
I'm not hands-on mom. I pop up, I pull up, I sit in classes. My oldest is 25. Let me tell you, they be like, yeah, whose mom's is that in the corner? And one of the kids will be like, what? Yep, I need to know. No, you say my son is acting up, or is it you? I sit in. I don't listen just to, my sons and I have dialogue. My oldest graduated, so, but they all in the same school, so they already know. They was like, oh, she don't play. I call the school, they're covering the things like Miss Dalton's on the line. What's going on? Did anything happen to Miles? Like they already know. I need to know the who, what, when, why, what. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not hands on mom. But what you're not going to do is there's a lot of kids that don't have the hands-on moms. So it's like we got to be an advocate for them as well. And what I hate also with the school system, they always like to cut the what you're the teacher for what you teach right now, because I want to
I
say
teach.
politically correct.
I teach what's known as humanities. I teach humanities.
Humanities. So the simple fact is humanities, but for the ones who don't know that, for the less fortunate, the kids that are on the short yellow bus that they like to make fun of and things to that nature, the less fortunate, the special education kids, they like to cut their programs first, and it pisses me off. They like to cut their programs off. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I've had a few friends in high school was like, yeah, they cutting our programs and they're cutting down this and cutting down that and everything to that nature. But they'll also give extra money to certain classes, certain parts. You know what I mean?
You
And
are.
on top of that,
Oh,
with the
okay, okay.
school supplies,
Mm-hmm.
so let's focus on that first and then we talk about that school supplies.
Yes. So you are not wrong in what you're saying there. What they really do. So, by the way, I just want to let you know, Miss Shuntai, my
How?
fiance and my sisters-in-law are actually in here watching.
How you guys
So,
doing? I'm
so,
spitfire.
so, the thing is, what you're stating before, what you stated about the classes, that is 100% true. What they do is, if something isn't working up to snuff, so to speak, right? What they do is they say, well, this ain't working the way we want it to work, so we're going to take money from this program and put it someplace where we think it's going to be the most beneficial. For instance, a school that takes away sports and athletic programming and the arts from a school to put more money into science and STEM programs and writing. Not saying that that's wrong, but what you've now done is you have taken the athletic, the physical, and the creative outlets from kids that they desperately need.
Also, keeping the kids off the street, you're now putting them further on the street
Exactly.
because the sports after school keeps them off the streets, away from the hooligans, away from everything, but get them focused and centered and wanting them to still continue with the sports, keep them healthy and things to that nature. They want us to fail, and it pisses me off because
fail miserably, I might add. I might add. Because like you just said, you're taking things away from these kids that they need as an outlet for their emotions. Because when you don't allow a kid to exert that emotional energy in a positive form, they're going to find other alternative ways to do so. And those alternative ways usually turn out to be the ways that are the most unsafe.
And
now you got parents like yourself worrying themselves to death that their child is out there in the street somewhere because there's no creative outlet for them.
Well, I keep mine on. They stay and stop. Okay. But there's parents that don't have the finances. That I thank God I do. But there's parents that don't. There's not a lot of YMCAs that have events. There's not a lot of boys and girl clubs anymore. Everything is being shut down. Lack of finances, lack of this, lack of that. So I'm saying we at home, it starts at home. It does start at home.
I agree with
There's a lot of kids being raised by mom and dads who's still young too. Mom and dad were teenagers when they had them. So they're out there shaking their thing. Now they're trying to catch up and miss what they did as teenagers. Now they're adults, but now trying to be their best friend. No, we need to set the standards high for our kids as well. But we need
Yeah.
more people. Like you and I advocate for the kids, but we need more of us advocating for the kids. We need more of us standing up and making sure that the kids are being trained and taught properly and not just put to the wayside. We need to learn what they know. I thank God I know what the Caucasians know. It took time to get there. Let's teach our kids young. Let's teach our kids how to be entrepreneurs. Let's teach our kids how to budget.
I agree.
Let's teach them. You see a gift in that child, you help nurture it. You help bring it to light. You help what? Oh, let's get that class. Let's look for that music teacher. Let's look for someone to train. Because if I got to work 2 jobs to make sure my kids succeed over me, that's what I'm damn sure going to do. I'm going to make sure my kids are straight, my granddaughter's straight. That generational wealth. Let's stop that GoFundMe crap. I'm so tired of that too. But said, we need teachers like us with the babies in school. Let them know, I got you. You see what I'm doing? You could do it too. Actually, I want you to excel over me. I'm a teacher. Why don't you be a lawyer? Why don't you be a doctor? Let me speak life into you. But I'm going to tell you, I've witnessed some teachers talk negative to the kids, and I check them right then and there. I don't care. Look, come see me. Look, I pull up. You're not going to mount to nothing. Da, da, da. Ooh, hold up. Maybe this is the job you shouldn't have. And this seniority, that's another thing. No, if you are nasty to these kids, you should not be a teacher.
Believe me, I'm going to tell you myself. Personally, for me, in 10 years, there are a lot of there's a difference between being nasty to a kid and checking them every now and again.
Hello.
There is a big difference between being nasty, because I'll never tell a child that they're less than or that they're stupid. But I will check you and say that your actions are unbecoming of who I aspire you to be. That's what I will tell you. I might go home and curse about it when I get home, because at least I'm in the comfort of my own home and ain't nobody watching. But in front of your face, oh no, I will never tell you tell you something like that to your face. But what I will tell you is, I want better for you. This is why I'm frustrated with your behavior, because I want better for you. I see greatness in you. Therefore, I want to instill that in you, but it's not just enough for me to instill it in you. You have to believe it too.
Grandma said you could lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink. But at least if you show the action of love and care, they'll want to.
Exactly right. Yep. And that my network where I teach, my charter network, one of the things that we love to say is that we we lead with love. That's what we say. And I tell my students every single day, the reason why I am the way I am with you is because I love and care about each and every one of you. It's not because I want to be this mean, nasty ogre. You could ask my fiance. I'm actually not that mean, but but she knows, and she knows my journey as an educator. She knows I've dealt with my fair share of craziness. But my thing is, I lead with love, because I know, because at the end of the day, a video I literally watch on the first day of school every single year. I watch a video by a lady. Her name is, see, my fiance just said, I'm not. But I watch a video by late great educator Rita Pearson, and she had a video. I watch it first day of school. I watch it every day for 10 years. It's called "Every Kid Needs a Champion," and she she told us that she taught in the Philadelphia school system for years. She passed a while ago, but she said that first day of school, a teacher came to her, a coworker, and said to her, I get paid to teach the kids, not like the kids. And her response to that was, okay, you do you, but I hope you understand, kids rarely ever learn from teachers that they don't like.
Fact.
So I don't want my students to hate me. I don't want them to fear me. But what I do want them to do is understand that I'm leading with love, but I want their respect. Because I will never outright disrespect you to your face, regardless of how great it might feel in the moment. Mm-hmm. As the old saying goes, a moment in time is just that, a moment. Mm-hmm. So if you don't understand that the magnitude of that moment, as you stated before, Ms. Sunshine, you don't belong in the classroom as an educator.
Exactly. I can tell you, I've done foster care, had 13 kids come through my home. I can tell you that in church, I work with the babies. I teach them how to flag. I teach them about the colors. I used to work with the Boy Scouts as well. Miss Nicole. And then if they did something wrong, I would say, okay, come on, baby. What did you do? Miss Nicole didn't like that. You got to talk to them with the respect and show them that you care. You're not going, I told you. No. Like you said, we talk with love. And so now when they see me, they could grow out of my class and they still come back. They be like, yo, they looking for you. You going to be there? I'll be like, well, I'm over here. And then they come. They find me and make sure they give me a hug before they leave. And I love it. And people be like, what do you have? They was like, she just shines her light. The simple fact is, each child that's come through my home, I pray over them. I love them. Because God knows I know what they're going back home to. And the judicial system is another thing that we will conquer another day. Because let me tell you, I took the state, I took them to court and I won. I took the county and then I became enemy number 1 hit list on them. So they tried to slander my name and everything else. But the simple fact is, what happened? The judge turned around to me and said, thank you for your due diligence for caring for these kids. These babies don't have an advocate. We got to be their advocate.
Agreed.
I've had newborn babies come through my home, literally 3 days old. What you're not going to do is do underhandedness. And they never asked me what I was, what I was doing back in school. I got my degree in paralegal. But I used to work for a law firm way before I got my degree. So, boop, don't play with me. I got attorneys in my family. I got doctors. I got lawyers. I got Navy SEALs. I got them. So, you're not talking to an ignorant Black person. You're talking to a high educated female. And what you're not going to do is look at my color and think I'm stupid. So, by the time I got finished with them, the judge looked at me and was like, what do you do now? I was like, oh, yeah, I'm a paralegal. I work for Philadelphia Law. She was like, oh, tell John. I said, oh. And the county's looking at me with their face twisted. And then she turned to them and said, now you need to explain to me why you did boom, 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 boom. And here's the proof. On my watch, my baby's, anybody's child is my child until they go back home.
There you go. I tell my students all the time, I call my students my kids.
My babies. They're my babies.
I tell them all the time, I'm like, I don't have students. I have daughters and sons, nieces and nephews in this room. And there'll be some parents who text me and they'll say to me, Mr. Snowden, please let me know when your child gets upset. And I go, and I'll text her back, my child is here. So, so I'm one of those. I'm one of those because, for
Hmm.
lack of better phrasing, a lot of the young people that I teach, they don't have a steady male in the home. So
And it's sad. It's sad. And
it's
some
sad.
do and they still don't. And some have
Right.
moms in the home and they don't. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. So, I want, that's why, and parents tell me that this was the most heartwarming thing I've ever heard. So over the summer, when I was getting myself ready for the school year, I was calling parents to let them know, hey, I'm going to be a child teacher. Da, da, da. I'm the advisor. We're doing this. We're doing that. When I picked up the phone and called about more than half of my students, and they found out they were having Mr. Snowden, when I tell you the excitement in their voices and in their families' voices was enough to say, yeah, I'm doing this thing for the right reason. Because to have kids excited to have you before school even begins, and then calling each other and saying, hey, did you get Mr. Snowden? I got Mr. Snowden. I can't wait to have Mr. Snowden. And then I'm hearing this from their families before the first day of school. And I'm like,
It
you
warms
know
your
what?
heart.
That is the only, like, I like to think I do my job extremely well. And a lot of people say to me, Mr. Snowden doesn't get recognized enough for the job that he does. And you know what I told them? Quite frankly, while I'm okay, while it's great to be recognized in publicly for the job that I do, the only real recognition I need is from the kids that I teach.
Amen.
That's the only recognition I need. If
Mm-hmm.
the kids tell me I did a great job and they're learning some, more important, the most important thing is they're learning. They're learning what I'm teaching them, but above all else, they're becoming better young people. That's the only recognition and validation I ever need.
Yep, it
And
is.
I think more, and I'm not even talking about the paycheck because I'll tell you this much. My grandfather, God rest his soul, used to say to me all the time, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
And even though I get annoyed with my children,
What
even
parent what?
though they frustrate me in a lot of different ways, I wake up every morning at 5 a.m., brush my teeth, clean myself up, put on clean clothes, walk out the door, go to the train, hop on that train to East Harlem, New York, and get in that classroom, and I love literally every single second. Literally every second of it.
I love it.
And so, but even though there are things that I wish we could change,
Oh, we
and
can.
things that absolutely need to change about the education system, because the way that it's structured right now is doing a major disservice to the children that we teach. I wouldn't change a thing about how I go about my practice of a teacher, because I don't, because you know something, this might sound a little bit arrogant, but I just want to make sure I'm stating it as confident, not arrogance.
That's right.
I wouldn't change a thing about the way I teach because of how effective I have been with the kids in front of me. You can't walk into my classroom and tell me I got to do something different when what I've been doing is working. If you haven't spent 5 minutes in my classroom with me to help me grow as a teacher, you can't tell me what the hell I need to do and can't do.
I
And,
know that's right.
and prior to the last couple of years I've been in the classroom, I'm not going to lie to you, Miss Sunshine. I can't lie. I've had some nightmarish experiences in schools. I've literally had administrators come into my room and tell me I can't teach. I've had this in the past. I had an administrator who, for whatever reason, didn't like me and was trying to fire me.
Mm.
Well, let me tell you something. God got involved in that. Guess who
Mm-hmm.
got to stay and guess who had to leave?
Listen, it's okay to do an open rebuke because I teach my kids that. So my youngest one will rebuke a teacher, text me and let me know about it. So when they call me, I was like, well, what did you do? Because my son is very verbal like his mother, but he's humble and he's respectful. What we not going to do is think my son is going to be dumbing down or watered down because the teacher feels threatened by his knowledge. No, we teach him at home. No, I posted books that every household, every African American household should have on my page. Oh no, we teach. My grandmother was head of the union, 1199 on Long Island, when she was in charge. Now she's retired. I used to go with unions with her, union meetings. I used to, ever since I was little, I was at the picket lines. I learned, okay? My kids gonna learn. We are vocal. We don't shut up. We will speak up. If we see something wrong, we speak up. If we see something being out of order, we speak up. So I tell the
That's right.
teachers this. I said, what were you doing for my son to have to do an open rebuke? I said, do you know what rebuke means? She was like, no. So I clarified with her. I said, when you are out of order and you're doing something that is not godly and not right to someone, my son has the right to speak up. Oh, what we not gonna do is we see those spirits on these teachers. We see the envy. We see the jealousy. Oh, don't pull up in a RAV4. Don't pull up in something. You're supposed to be in a raggedy putt-putt. But no, boo. We don't do that here. We don't do that here.
No, 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 no. You're not gonna. No, I'm not the
Exactly.
one either.
I'm
I'm not.
not the
I'm not the. I am not the one. I
list.
said, you know, it's funny. That is one of my favorite things to tell my
I
students
tell
when they
them
try
I'm
to when
not
they
the
try to
one,
cut out
boo.
a line. I go, hold on a second, slow your roll. I'm not the one. You want to go
I'm
and
not the
do that with another
one,
teacher that is going to
boo.
check you? I'm not that. I'm not that one because you know you better know good and damn well Mr. Snowden is going to check you lovingly and respectfully. But he gonna check you.
I'm like, oh, you got the right one here.
You go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
Go
like,
ahead and say something slick again.
I'm like, try me if you want to. And I tell the parents, this is what I love the most. All my kids have squads, right? And the parents be like, well, whose house you gonna be at? Oh, I'm gonna be at Miles' mom's house. Okay, not a problem. Rule number one, does your kids have any allergies? Rule number two, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna treat them like I treat mine. Rule number three, they're not going back anywhere until I know that they're at your house, you have them, or you come pick them up. Rule number four, they act out of order, they're gonna get it like my kids do. I have boys. I yoke you up. Who you talking to? No. Okay,
Yep.
just let's clarify. My middle son is 6'1". I be looking up at him. Look, I'm 5'2". I be looking up at him like, just because you a little bit taller and you 16 and you think that, I was like, I will drop you down. He be like, mom.
That's too funny because what's hysterical to me is my beautiful fiance and I were having a conversation the other day, and she cracked me up because she always wanted a man that was taller than her. I'm almost a full foot taller than my fiance. So, but you know something. At the same time, there's one thing I know. To my young men, you're not going to disrespect a young lady in my face and think I'm going to let you do it.
Hello.
Young ladies, you're not going to disrespect yourself or somebody else in my presence either.
Hello. I say it
So,
all the time. Pull up your pants. I don't want to see your boxes. I tell my man if I'm dating, what where's your belt?
what,
Nah, I don't want to see your boxes,
why
and nobody else need to be seen. I was like, and if I gotta see it, that means we ain't meant to, because okay, there's certain parts, okay, no.
you know, and what's hilarious actually is I don't do that because I've never had my pants go below my waist ever because to be frank, I'm always afraid that my grandmother is going to show up the day that happens. Because my grandmother flat out told me if she ever saw me like that, after she gets done paddling me, she's going to safety pin my pants to my behind.
I told
So,
my kids if I ever see them out on the street and they don't have their belts on, or I see their boxes or whatever, I don't care where we at. I'm embarrassed the hell out of them. I said that's what we don't do here.
mm-hmm.
We walk with excellence. We look the part and we play the part and we act the part. Don't let me catch you out here looking oh willy nilly, because I will willy nilly you in front of your friends, grab you by your ear, twist it like grandma used to do me, and walk your behind and get you something. Okay?
There you
That's what we not
go.
doing here, because they already got us set in their mind one way. No, boo. I was like, it's sad to say we are guilty until proven innocent. But what you're not going to do, you represent me out here on these streets. I represent you out here on these streets. You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
embarrass me, and I'm damn sure not going to embarrass you. I didn't get my degrees and graduated summa cum laude. Act like you know. Made the dean's list. You watching me go back and got it? Yes, you could do it too.
There you go. Let me tell you something. I'm not that type of person to sit there and do
Ain't that
that. Because
mama?
I will tell you this much. I had a conversation with my students after a situation that I didn't witness the situation, but I was told about it because my students, you know how they love to
Oh,
talk.
and videotape
They will
now.
come and tell. Here's the best part. They will come and tell me everything. So I found out about it, and me and my students, we had to have us a little come to Jesus moment. Because I flat out told them, I don't care what it is that you do. When you step outside of these four walls in this classroom, in this school, there isn't a single person out there in that world that gives a damn about us.
Exactly.
Because for us, the justice system, and I'm going to switch this one here because this is the same thing sometimes. The justice system for us is reversed. Usually it's you're innocent until proven guilty. For us, we're guilty until proven innocent, and more likely, it is more likely that we will end up being guilty because they will try to find literally any and everything that they can find to put us in the guilty column. Because what they end up wanting to do as a result of that, they want to overpopulate the jails with people that look like us.
Free work. That's what we're looked at as, free work.
Exactly. So I'm not. So I don't do things like that. I am not the type of person that thinks that you can go ahead and just get over on me. But at the same time, what you're absolutely not going to do is you're not going to make a fool out of me and your families. Not on my watch.
So
Not,
IG's time is cutting down.
oh,
So
okay.
So what we're going to do now, you guys, first, we're going to thank you guys for tuning in. Second, we are trying to spread the word about helping the teachers, being hands-on with the teachers, being hands-on with your children, teaching them the fundamentals. Teach them how to be lawyers and doctors. Speak life into them. Let them know it's okay to be doctors. It's okay to be lawyers. It's okay to be nurses. It's okay to want that. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. And don't dumb down yourself to make other people feel comfortable to be around you. If you're smart, own it. If you're smart, apply it to everything you do. Stay away from the jails, but focus more on excelling in life, being better, doing better.
Yes.
And we need more teachers like that. I can honestly tell you, I have a 6th grade teacher, Mr. Mann, who taught us how to play chess on our downtime. He made sure we learned everything, the curriculum, but he made sure there was time for us to learn how to do stocks, learn how to read the market. 6th grade, he taught us that. Then I had Mrs. Marshall. She was my English teacher in 11th grade. I loved her. She was like, your poetry hits. Keep writing. I stopped. Now I'm back. I got 6 books now. Why? I think of Mrs. Marshall. My sister, my sister tried to take one of my tests, one of my exams that Mrs. Marshall had. You had to go ahead and do essays and write and take a project and write about it. I got an A+. My sister tried to take it, switched some words around, and Miss Marshall gave her a D. My sister was like, I don't understand why I got a D. She said, because it was your sister's paper and you just tried to finagle it.
Plagiarism.
And my sister was like, how did you know? She was like, honey, I wrote the A for your sister. On top of that, we talked about it, had dialogue. On top of that, you said some things your sister would always say. Watch what you do. But see, that's a teacher I love still to this day. Mr. Terry, criminal justice, African-American teacher. Nicole, that's not like you. I was like, look, they could catch the mouth too. But the simple fact is, having those 3 teachers through my life, I still remember them. They still deposited something in me that I could deposit into somebody else. So I want to be that person. You're that person. I'm that person. These kids need more people like us.
I agree. Just need more people to do what you're talking about.
And if you can also help them after you do your curriculum about setting up their own businesses, things like that. Literally, I made this book so cheap and reasonable. It's also vocal. It's on all platforms. How to set up an account, how to set up a DBA. You can use your own Social Security. Go online, do it, set it up, things like that. I want our children to grow, to excel, not be held down, and not thinking, oh, I can only be a drug dealer or this or that or a janitor. No. And there's nothing wrong with janitors. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But if they are smart, I want them to all apply it. Excel, outlive us, outdo us in our careers, outsoar us.
Yes, agreed. You got. Last thing I'll say before we cut out of here is that I can teach you to be better, but you have to want better.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Exactly. I can't want more for you than you wanting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And like you said, starts at home. But at the end of the day, if we can just instill into them to want better, it just makes our job as teachers that much easier.
Yes.
And as I've said at the beginning of this interview, I love what I do, and I don't feel like I work a day at any point. Do I put in work? For sure, but I don't work.
Because I love.
I love what I do, and I wouldn't change a thing. So I really, two conversations with you in 2 weeks. It's just been dope vibe with you here, Miss Sunshine. It really has been.
It's dope with you too, Scotty Mac. You see, Scotty Mac, gotta put it in together.
No, that don't wear the name out.
No, but I do thank you for taking the time out because I know you got school tomorrow, teaching and everything.
Yes, yeah.
But it had to be talked about. I like to talk about stuff that we need to talk about, that we don't talk about, that we don't address. I address stuff. I take it head on, but like, what? Bring it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can come sit, but I wanted to give you your flowers for being a teacher because I know it's not easy. Shoot, teaching these kids when they get home ain't easy. Looking at this math curriculum and everything else.
Believe me, I know.
I'm like, hold up. So, from our house to yours, we thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
If you can teach a kid, be that for them. Be that for them. Teach one, reach one. Let's reach more than one. Show compassion. Because right now, this generation needs it. Seriously.
Lead with love when you do it.
Exactly. So thank you for tuning in. And again, we'll see you soon.
Right, see you again soon. I'll see you February 18th in White Plains to introduce the one and only Rod Digger and to give the legendary Alpino his flowers. So I will see you down in White Plains on the 18th, Miss Sunshine.
Sure will, because I'm booking my flight right after we're done.
There you go. So now I already know you'll be here.
See you guys later.
All right. Have a good night. Take care.